So first of all, I want to welcome you here to
Thank you.
TMC for Seniors for the Inside Story, in that we're going to learn all about your story. And we're going to do this one a little bit differently than what we've done in the past, because I want to make sure we cover your life, okay, and sort of what you've done. And I do want to start with your bio that we have from our Salute to Centenarians. We held the Salute to Centenarians this year in May. We always hold it in May. And this is the bio that we had from from the program for you. So I'd like everyone to hear that first, and then I have a host of questions, and then we'll open it up for additional questions as well, okay? Yeah. So today we've got with us one singular sensation, and mini but mighty Helen Goldman. Helen was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1922, and she has one daughter, 2 sons, and 4 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. She's a writer and loves writing comedy and has won awards. In fact, she began a successful event at the Jewish Community Center at the tender age of 70. It was a fun-filled night of vaudeville entertainment called Follies at the J. She has also designed wearable art for kids and parents that were sold nationwide. She does love a Mediterranean diet, but not because she has to eat that way, just because she likes it. Mostly, she loves naughty foods like Malamars. It's a New York thing. Arugula, Dunkin' Donuts, and a hot pastrami on rye with a sour pickle and a knish makes her want to live indefinitely. For her, it's all about the simple pleasures and some extravagant ones as well. She likes dining out, dancing, traveling, concerts, theater, and motivational speaking. She has exercised her entire life playing golf and was one of the first mall walkers in Tucson. From there, she was introduced to the JCC, and a whole new world opened with her friends. Flirty men and a social life after her husband passed. She's a party girl still. Helen loves people, being social, and where there is food, she'll be there. But not just any food. She does have standards. Fast food? Are you kidding? Why put garbage in a Ferrari? Only the best for her. She absolutely loves learning and has played bridge, taken Tai Chi classes, studied Spanish, Italian, and some Mandarin. She says being curious, busy, and learning something new is what keeps her young at heart. And now she has her own YouTube channel called Helen Goldman Unfiltered. One never knows what will come out of her. Sometimes even she doesn't. Being spontaneous keeps her and those around her on her toes. When asked what she credits her longevity to, you mentioned scotch, hang gliding, and mountain climbing.
I don't think so.
These days she moves a little slower, but she can't take the sass out of a Brooklyn girl. So, I know you're grateful for your DNA and also your lifestyle and your attitude. You have all of that, right? So, so I just want to welcome Helen for being here today. I was so thrilled. It's something we've been talking about for the Inside Story for a while. And when I met Heidi, her daughter, who's here, and Helen, I was just excited, and I said, will you come do the Inside Story with us? I know you like speaking gigs, so, right? So I had a couple questions, and I really want to start. We're scrolling through photos that have been put together. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we got your life up there. So they're just going to scroll through while we're talking, okay, so they can see them. But I really want to start at the beginning, and I just wanted to know a little bit about what it was like growing up in Brooklyn in the 1920s, and what was it like to be a teenager during the Great Depression?
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, all of this has been part of my life. I grew up in a middle-income family. At the time, my father was in business for himself. He was the manufacturer of something you all are aware of today, and that's baseball caps. He was one of the originators. And they had baseball caps that were round on top and you just put on your head. And he came up with an idea to have 3 points in it, so the baseball cap sticks up straight. And also that not everybody has the same size head. And so he had the adjustable band in the back so that you could adjust it, which they have on many hats today. His biggest achievement was that he had made the baseball cap for the first black baseball player, and that was Jackie Robinson and Jackie Robinson's son. Shortly after that, of course, we had not a recession, but the Great Depression. And so everything tanked, as it tends to, and even worse then. So we lost everything, and from something, we went down to nothing. But he was resourceful, as they are in my family, and he picked himself up, started all over again in the garage of our home, and began his business to become one of the leading people who were selling that kind of thing, and baseball and football and all of those hats, Panama hats the men wore, then they wore caps. It was lucrative, and he did what he could to support his family. My sister went to NYU, which then was prestigious college and very expensive, and they footed all these bills, took care of us so that we all went to college, had an education. And then, of course, on top of that came World War II. When I was 17, 18 years old, all the boys were being drafted. And it was a very funny time because I really had no youth. You of the succeeding generations, you may not feel like you're a succeeding generation at this point, going from 60 to 70 and some at 80, and if you're fortunate, 90, of course, 100 is the ultimate. You didn't see that in front of you at that time. Clothing was scarce because everything was for the war effort. And I did not marry my husband at the beginning of the war, but during the war, I did. They needed something to come home to. My father and mother were against it, his parents were against it, but it was something that gave him hope. And for whatever reason, it was dumb to get married during the war because you didn't know what was going to come back. And so I joined that and joined civil service and worked for the government in Jersey City, had to go through the Hudson Tubes. And I was this new kid, I didn't know where I was going and what I was doing. And so I worked for the government. I had a very, very good position. We made $1,600 a year. That was money. Meat was like what, 25 cents a pound. Gasoline, the very same thing. A hot dog was a nickel. Going on the trains, if you were lucky enough to live in a big city, was a nickel. The newspaper was like 10 cents. So everything proportionately was the same as it is today, except that you don't realize it. You know, you laugh when you hear gasoline 25 cents a gallon, really. And so, as far as I'm concerned, that was a way of life. You didn't know anything else except, I still have the coupons that we use to buy food. I still have a lot of the tokens, V-mail that we sent to our loved ones overseas. I had 3 in the family, my brother, my brother-in-law, and my husband. And so we formed a code for them to tell us where they were traveling without being recognized by anybody. And all 3 men had that. We also sent packages of food because they were not fed that well. And so I would send every month a big package of food. My sister and my brother, my brother-in-law, my sister sent to him, and my mother sent to my brother. And so we were very busy at that time, and it ended, and that was fabulous. But you couldn't get anything. You couldn't get an apartment. Everything was under the table. You had to pay $2,500, which was $2,500 then, for an apartment. fortunately, my in-laws were in the business, like Donald Trump, not as big, but something. And so they had apartments, houses. And so in order for me to get an apartment, I had to wait for somebody to pass away, because they would not give up their apartments. That was over. And so we had our home, raised my children, 3, moved to the island, which in Brooklyn they call Long Island, which is enunciated. And we lived on the island for not quite 20 years. When we decided on 25th anniversary, we were gonna go on a trip. My husband says, no, Europe, I never want to go back there. He said, I had my fill. We spend my money, or our money, in the United States. So we traveled on the 25th anniversary from New York to California and visited all the places in between. Children were in camp. I had 3 at the time, 2 boys and 1 girl. So that was our big trip. And we got to Tucson because friends of ours had people here that were in Tucson, and they said, come down to Tucson and see our friends. So we did. He fell in love with Tucson, put on the hat and the spurs and the pants and the turquoise. John Wayne was born, and on the way home, really, on the way home, he said, I'm selling the business. He, of course, inherited the family business. And so.
Was that was the hats?
No,
or different?
Never took that hat off.
Okay.
I mean, he was 6'3", John Wayne, a figure like John Wayne, not big or heavy then, of course, with age we do. And he just loved being here.